Now that we've gotten through the introduction, this is going to be our very first practical JavaScript video. Some people might call me crazy because what we're going to do now is actually write some JavaScript right off the bat. As we do this, I'm going to go over some concepts along the way. The point of this video is not for you to try to absorb all the concepts at once because that would probably be a little bit too difficult. The idea is just to give you a basic feel for what it's about and to introduce you to the whole process. If you get confused by things along the way, don't worry about it. This is just the very first crash course. I'm throwing you into the deep end here just to get your feet wet. And in subsequent videos, we're going to be a little bit more methodical. We're going to go through things a little bit slower and break down things. Anyhow, I want to get some practical experience into your hands. So as you follow along, I would suggest that you pause the video at times to copy out the script as I write it. It doesn't matter if you don't understand everything along the way. The point is just to start writing code, because as you write stuff, you'll find that it will help a lot in terms of you being able to absorb the information. So let's jump into it right now. So I've launched my preferred text editor at this point. You don't have to use Dreamweaver. I just happen to be using it because, it's just there. It's convenient for me. And you could use Notepad. Of course, I've covered that before. So here we have a very simple web page. This is a preview of what it is. And what you should look at is these two things here. This is a JavaScript script block. The script, I call it a block because you got the opening tag and you got the closing tag. It works pretty much like HTML, where you have your opening HTML tag and your closing HTML tag. The difference is that in between these two, the browser knows that we're going to be writing some JavaScript. So what happens, if you recall, when a page is loaded up by the web browser starts reading from the top and it works its way down. Yeah, well, that's pretty much it. So it works from the top down. So when it hits this opening script tag block, it knows that anything after this is going to be JavaScript. And it knows it's JavaScript because it says type equals text, because we're going to be writing text, JavaScript. And it knows to stop processing the code. The code's going to be in here as JavaScript when it hits this closing block. So the browser is smart enough to know that this is going to all be JavaScript. So let's, I'm rubbing my hands here. Let's write our very first JavaScript. So alert, don't worry, we'll go through this. Alert is something called a function. A function is kind of like a mini program in a program. So a function provides some sort of functionality. That's why they call it a function. And many modern programming languages, and JavaScript including, have many built-in functions. Each function have a name and they have a functionality. They do something particular. So this function is called alert. We know it's called, alert. And anything in between this bracket and this bracket gives JavaScript more information about what we want this function to do. So what does that mean? Well, I'm trying to find the easiest way to explain this to you guys. I think what you can take from, well, we'll back up a couple steps. And what it is this, is that a function can do, they usually have a primary role, but you can give it subcommands in between these brackets to control the specifics of how this function will work. So you can think of this as a machine, as like a, I don't know, if this is the kitchen, this would be like a blender or a toaster. And whatever you put in between here are instructions to the blender. So let's pretend alert was a blender that tells the blender specifically what to do. So, you can set it to go fast or slow or whatnot. So many functions will give you the ability to fine-tune how it exactly works. And again, you send those, you specify that rather in between these brackets. A lot to take in here. I've jumped ahead quite a bit. So just understand what you want to take away is that this is a script block, JavaScript script block. We know that the browser knows that this is JavaScript because it's in between this opening tag, this closing tag. And we know that alert is a function. It's something that's built into JavaScript. So think of a function as a mini program inside a program. Fair enough? So I have the opening and closing brackets, much in the same way, opening and closing tags. And what this is, the semicolon, it's just, it acts like a period. It tells the JavaScript engine, tells the browser that this is the end of this line of JavaScript. You have to do that in JavaScript. You have to have these little, this little closing, this period here, the semicolon. So there you go. This is our very first simple piece of JavaScript, and let's see what this does. So I'm going to save this, and I'm just going to preview this page. And here you go. Now I'm using Firefox here, and we'll just press OK. Let me minimize this so we see it. So this is Firefox. Now I'm just going to reload the page. There we go, JavaScript application. See, now this is the alert box. Alert basically spawns a box. You see it says hello. We go back to the code, hello. So I'm going to change it to hello Joe's. So I save that, refresh the page, hello Joe's. So you could see that the alert function, which is a function built into JavaScript, there's many of them, and we can send that function a message, a text message, and we can type whatever we want here. And what alert does basically is pop open this alert box. This is called the alert box, and it displays a message that we specify. We could say don't display any message. Now I'll save that, refresh, no message, right? So what happens if we take off the semicolon? See how forgiving the browser is. Oh, it will still work. Now, you should be putting this here. Some browsers may actually spit out an error and say, whoa, what's going on here, text. Other browsers will let it pass, but maybe if we do this, I'm going to write another alert, put a semicolon. I'm going to go, I'll just call this alert. All right, see what happens here. Okay. Oh, let me just bring this into view here. Oh, our second alert fired off. Okay, cool. So that's not bad. That's not bad. So let's see what happens if I take off this period. Save. Oh, see, look at that. That's pretty cool. So you see, one of the reasons I use Dreamweaver, because it does have some built-in capabilities to make it easier for you to write code, including JavaScript. And you see here the line 14 where it's highlighted red, and you see the error messages. There's a syntax error on line 14. This is basically telling us we have a problem with our code here. But I'm just going to ignore that, pretend that we're not using a fancy Dreamweaver type of program that tells us what to do. And I'm just going to hit refresh. And look at that. See, nothing happens. That means our JavaScript is not working. See, unfortunately though, the way I have the browser set at this point, it's not displaying the errors to us. So that's going to be something we're going to do in another video. But so you can see how, well, let me just add my little semicolon, which acts as a period. Of course, Dreamweaver tells us everything's cool now. And let's see what happens when we launch the actual browser. Here goes alert number 1, alert number 2. And there you go. Our very first JavaScript. We learned a few concepts along the way. I hope at points you've paused it to try and type out the code. If you haven't, do so now. Type out this code, type out one alert, then a second alert, take out the semicolon, see how it works. Just do that so you can get a feel for what the whole process is like. Yeah, don't worry. We're gonna go back and we're gonna go over some details here in future videos. But I just hope that you get a basic understanding of how we've used JavaScript in this page. This is the simplest way to do it. There's so many ways you can do it. And I just wanted to wet your whistle, give you a taste so that it's not totally alien to you.